all of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit, this fucking timeline is lit all over, it's over.
What is going on? Welcome to the Watch Party Live. Got a new scene set here for you guys. Why is the screen black? Black History Month is over. Great point.
All of my sexual fantasies.
Thank you very much, Lord of the Ree. Joining me tonight will be my boy Chuck Mason. What's going on, Chuck?
Hey, John. How you doing?
Not too bad. I just realized I didn't shut the heat off, though, so let me go take care of that real quick. And while I go shut the heat off, chat, say hello, chat. I'll be right back.
There's Zeb.
There's Zeb. All right, that'll shut off here in just 1 second. We'll wait for it to get a little bit quiet. I will say hello to the chat. Reminder, you can send up to 10 emojis, and they will fly across the screen. Oh, thank you, Zeb. You're too kind. Zeb was going to join us, but he's a little under the weather, so no sweat. 5 emojis like so. There you go. It's all working. We have Trump adjusted, they said, till 9:10, so 67 minutes left to go until that starts. Come on, Heat. Come on, Heat. It's going to stop any second. But while we wait, what is going on, chat? There's our moderator, Linda Love. What's going on? Marie LaRue, always nice to see you. Mr. Smith, 118 as well. Truth wins every time. Do check it out. David Olderking, what's going on? Heather Taylor, Lord of the Ree, saw you already. Joe Merkel, Jonathan Rogler. I don't know if I've seen you before. 51st State. You must be talking about Canada. Must be. Z Kyle, Dr. Tetanus is in the house, throwing up some hard M's. I respect it. Eric Cooley, Rob Mackey, Moonchild, of course, if I didn't say you already. Vakrin Hart, always good to see you. What's going on, man? Man, that heat is really taking its sweet time. I feel like I jinxed it. I definitely shut it off. I'm sure of it, Chuck. Chuck, I'm sure of it.
Give it time, brother.
Behind me here, I've got the live stream pulled up, so if you see that start to play, there it goes. Oh, so nice. So nice, and that's glorious. All right, so we'll keep an eye on that, but right now, 66 minutes to go. So Chuck and I are going to go through some speculation I pulled from X on what Trump might talk about, and of course, Chuck, by any means, jump in there with any thoughts that you have. I do want to quickly plug Chuck. Chuck Mason on YouTube has a new video up. It's quite good. I highly recommend you go check it out. Maybe we'll take a look here in a second. And we are, of course, Chuck talked me into it. I didn't want to do it. Chuck's like, we need to be drinking some whiskey. And
yeah, that was me all the way. All the way. But you know, I
It's not bad. We'll get a nicer scotch in here. That was nice to hear you like the single malt. And he was kind enough to allow me a cigar. So we're going to stick to the cigar today. It's like a shitty Michael Knowles one, I hate to say. I think I might have just left it sit too long. But it might turn into a canoe. If you see that, tell me. I don't want to ash on all my expensive shit here.
tariff me
But
Canada.
Economic policies, starting with that, we'll sort of just get into it here, and here's your little bullet point. Trump is expected to highlight economic wins from his first 6 weeks in office, such as efforts to reduce federal bureaucracy, reduce the bureaucracy, and promote job growth. He may discuss extending his 2017 tax cuts. Let me get that little jungle music out of there. A key Republican priority currently under consideration in Congress. Chuck, thoughts on whether or not Trump will talk about economic policies? We should have done a little like betting pool.
Yeah, we should have. He's got to. I mean, it's in his. I mean, he has to highlight every positive that he's done, in part because this is a selling point to the rest of the country, at least to the center that voted for him. You know, I mean, the case is going to have to be made from here on out of not only why he's been in office, but all of his wins, and then what that means for the rest of the country. You know, those people that were sitting on the fence who came over why should they stay? And I think that's going to be critical for him to make the point.
That was the number one point. The number one betting odds was that he was going to talk about economic policies. Also, I'm an a-hole because we record differently normally. But on the live stream, try to scoot up a little closer to that mic. Almost give it a little bit of kiss. It gives you that nice bass sound.
Sounds good.
So, yeah, there you go. Economic policies. Oh, my gosh. I see Pictus in the chat. The chat is distracting me. I should have took a Zeb's tip and flipped myself again. But yeah, I think so. Reduce federal bureaucracy. That's kind of a couple points down here under DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency. But a lot of federal employees are still facing that deal. I don't know how much of the buyout deal, right? And as they say, Trump's first offer is his best offer, like we see with Zelensky in Ukraine. So I would take the deal. I mean, I don't work for the government. I'm not a leech, but if you do, maybe take the deal. I don't know. Chat, economic policy. What do you think? We got the old Pilled thing going on here. Weird. Yes, we're live on X and Pilled and YouTube, by the way. You should be able to chat from any of those platforms and get to us. Let's just go right into number 2 because it's sort of connected, and I just want to use my little graphic that I put all this time into. Trade and tariffs. So it was tariffs supposed to start tomorrow. Is that right? Or is it
Yeah. So
allegedly?
yeah, allegedly. Well, here. So I day trade.
Okay, hit us
Right?
with it.
I day trade, and I day trade volatility. So, meaning I need a very active market, and it is a very different world when you're day trading in an active market, when you're day trading in a hot market. And leading up to this, the last week has been an entirely different market, and today was like a blanket was placed on the market today.
Oh,
Yeah, and it was all because of everything was down. The S&P was down, NASDAQ was down, and because everybody's worried about what the economic impact of this is going to ultimately be.
of this speech.
Of the trade and tariff.
Oh, the tariffs,
Of the
yeah.
tariffs. Yeah, everybody has just, they're worried about the economic impact of the tariffs.
Thank you, by the way, Lord of the Re. Trump lied. I'm not tired of winning. It was a great. You remember Trump? You're going to get tired of winning. Oh, it was great. Jacks me up. Having a good day. Fired up. Okay, yeah. So tariffs. So people are waiting and seeing on that. And then I saw, Justin Trudeau, who I think is a clown, was talking to all this smack. But yeah, they're scheduled to go into effect very soon. And then just recently, maybe I can pull this up actually on Twitter here that we have the whole reason we have it. That Trump was maybe not going to enact the tariffs all of a sudden, but I'm sure he'll talk about that tonight. Go ahead.
Well, it's just like with Zelensky. When he pulled the rug out from underneath Zelensky and he said, you're not getting any, and we're pulling aid. And Zelensky came back to kiss the ring. So Trump does not want tariffs. He's using the tariffs because of the incredible economic imbalance that just was allowed to happen over the last 20 to 30 years. And so if he'll hit with tariffs, if he gets the economic and the trade deals that he wants, he'll pull the tariffs in a heartbeat. It's not as though he thinks that a world with tariffs is a good thing. They're the stick to get the carrot.
This is pretty good here from Paul Cispula. Bubble bath girl. Justin Trudeau tried to act tough against the tariffs President Trump has for Canada. Trump then responded by calling him Governor Trudeau of the 51st state and making it abundantly clear the U.S. will win with tariffs.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do. There really is nothing they can do. And in a large part, if you realized literally what the imbalances are, it would be shocking. And these guys don't want to give up the gravy train. They do not want to give up the gravy train.
Yeah.
So what are they going to do? They're not going to just give in right away. They're going to do this kind of stuff. They're going to hit everybody as hard back as they can. But in the end, they're going to do exactly what Zelensky did. There's no way that they can deal with the economic might of the United States. So
somewhat on topic, Chuck, I got to ask you, have you heard the rumors that Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro?
Oh, I've heard those, yeah.
I think it's true. You ever seen a picture of him side by side?
Hey, dude, I've seen the photos. It's got to freaking be true.
I saw it on the internet.
Like my oldest son looks exactly like me. So if he looks like Fidel, it's got to be.
Oh, I usually laugh at that kind of stuff, but damn, they do look a lot alike. It cracks me up. Chat, is Trudeau really Justin Castro? Let's find out. And Zeb, Zeb feels bad because he's sick, I think is why he's doing this. So you don't have to do that, Zeb, but we
You can
appreciate
just buy
it.
citizenship. What is an American?
Willy Wonka in the White House trying to pay off the debt with golden tickets. If you can just buy citizenship, what is an American? It's a good question.
Yep.
Although it is $5 million, so there'll be some pretty wealthy immigrants. I do think that would filter out a few people. It's kind of like why golf courses are
brightest. What's that?
It's like why golf courses are expensive, or why Costco has a membership.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Keeps it's a
We're the
form.
Costco of the world.
It's a form of gatekeeping. Oh my goodness. All right, so trade and tariffs, a lot on the line. The market is down and flat. Chuck needs some volatility, so hopefully Trump will say some volatile things.
Yeah, he's got to make a case to the American people of why these are important and what's the long term. Why it's in the best interest of the United States long term.
Do you day trade? Is it VIX, the volatility index?
No, what I do is I have stock screeners that look for stocks with breaking news, and then you have to ride the lightning up and down.
What about crypto? You getting into crypto at all?
No. I do one thing. I just trade volatility and stocks with certain parameters, low caps. So
Gotcha.
Yep.
Nice. All right. We will see what happens on trade and tariffs. I am very sure it will come up. Border security. Here's a little bullet point. Immigration is likely to be a focal point, with Trump possibly emphasizing his administration's efforts to reduce undocumented border crossings. I don't know that he used that word. And secure funding for a border wall and deportations. He may reference crimes committed by illegal immigrants, as suggested by invited guests like the parents of Laken Riley. Yeah, I got to believe. I mean, these topics all sort of tie into each other, as you can see. But
absolutely do.
The border is an absolute shit show. Has been for quite some time. I know some people are kind of down on Trump because the deportation numbers are lower than Biden's were, I guess, at least the rate. We'll see what happens. I would like to see more, of course, but I imagine there's a lot of self-deportation going on, and there's a lot less people cross.
There's a lot less people that have come across, and there has been self-deportation, absolutely, but it's only been 6 weeks, and.
Well, it also sounded like, didn't there, like their initial operation got leaked from the inside? They were going to do some huge Chicago raid.
Yep.
I think Barack Obama's probably the one.
Well, this is what I keep saying. The left is shell shocked right now, but they're still the left. It isn't like they said, you're right. We shouldn't have let 20 million people into the country unvetted. It isn't like they've said, hey, you're right. What were we thinking about letting biological men beat the hell out of women on athletic fields? They haven't done anything like that. So, but the point is that they're still the left. They haven't gone anywhere, and they have no intention of going anywhere.
Chat, thoughts on border security coming up? I know I keep asking you questions and then don't give any of you guys time to respond. Build the wall, says Zeb. I'm with you.
Yep.
Oh, and then we're still talking about Justin Trudeau above that. All right, foreign policies. I feel like this has all been somewhat the same topics here in some ways. Trump is anticipated to outline plans to end the Ukraine war. That is interesting and unique. I really want to see what happens there.
Yep.
Secure the release of hostages held by Hamas in Gaza. His recent pause on U.S. military aid to Ukraine. Forgot about that. That was big.
Yeah.
Just paused all that. And tensions with Ukrainian President Zelensky could also be addressed alongside his broader America First vision for global relations. Go ahead.
Well, no, I mean, it was funny to watch him bitch slap Zelensky.
We did a little spontaneous live stream on Sunday. We rewatched the whole thing. Not that we believed the spin the media was putting on it, but it's always nice if you get a chance to go watch the whole thing, and then you can see how much the headlines lie and shit. But it was a great time. It's still up if you want to go watch the full thing. I think it was about 50 minutes in total, and then of course all the fireworks happened at the end. But to my knowledge, Zelensky has not really apologized. He's sort of still.
The headlines I saw on the way over.
Just now?
Yeah. He was I don't know how the apology is coming, but he said I cannot, looking forward to working with America as our greatest ally in pursuing peace. So
let's see what he's talking about. He's got a Twitter or an X or whatever. We're not watching that whole thing. I had a productive call with Finland. I don't care about that. Can't read that.
Let me take a look at my phone.
I spoke with Keir Starmer. Yeah, if you see it, you can actually like text me something and I can pull it up if you see anything nice. I swear he had a little, here we go. Here we go. This tweet. I would like to reiterate Ukraine's commitment to peace. None of us wants an endless war. Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than Ukrainians. Arguable based on that meeting. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We are ready to work fast and end this war, and the first stage could be the release of prisoners and truce in the sky. He wants shit. Ban on missiles, long-range drones, bombs on energy and other civilian infrastructure, and truce in the sea immediately, all the places they're losing. If Russia will do the same, then we want to move very fast through all the next stages and to work with the U.S. to agree to a strong final deal. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence, and we remember the moment when things changed when President Trump provided Ukraine with javelins. We are grateful for this. Our meeting in Washington at the White House on Friday did not go the way it was supposed to.
Like I said, I know the formal apology is going to be on the way.
Well, here's this bullshitty part. It is regrettable.
Right.
Not I'm sorry.
Right. Like I said, the formal apology has not yet arrived.
It is regrettable that it happened this way. It is time to make things right. Waiting. We would like future cooperation and communication to be constructive. Yeah, I think everybody would, buddy. A little 5'3" with an attitude. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it in any time and in any convenient format. What? Okay. We see this agreement as a step toward greater security and solid stupid security guarantees. And I truly hope it will work effectively. Kind of smells like bullshit.
I think
it's a non-apology, says Marie LaRue.
Well, no, I it's probably the first conciliatory olive branch. I would imagine that you're right. I mean, it's not a formal apology. It is a non-apology. You would imagine that something else was coming, and that something more will be on its way. But this was, this was kind of a, like a, shit, he actually pulled the rug out from underneath us. We got to start something.
I don't know why that caught him by surprise.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it looked an awful lot. I mean, give me your thoughts, but it's always, you got to rely on rumors and hearsay to some degree. But I think it is accepted as fact that Zelensky met with other American officials before he met with Trump.
Met with the Democrats.
Well, that's what I was about to say.
Oh, yeah. No, it's your show.
Other American
the damn Democrats.
Yeah, who were very clearly on a certain side of American politics that our sitting president is not on.
Yeah.
It's my belief they basically told him, start a fight.
Right. Yeah.
And I think they had a media blitz ready to go.
Right.
To spin it as if Trump was some tyrant. Go ahead, Chuck.
And well, I think what the Europeans did for him is... he has been inflated with the sense that we were going to do what we could for them to win this war and push the Russians back out of whatever territory they had taken. And he's always been under the assumption that we were going to do whatever it took, to be able to facilitate that. So rather than come to the White House looking for...
Because why wouldn't we, Chuck?
Well, exactly. Well, I mean, in reality, that's what should happen in my mind, for global peace. Because what you're showing what you're showing the world is that, hey, I can incur into my neighbor and I can get so far, and then it's math. Is the territory I'm going to gain worth what I'm going to lose, without having to be pushed back and defeated? But at the end of the day, I think he came here expecting all of these things that the Europeans and Democrats had put in his brain that should be reasonable for him to expect. And Trump had a different idea.
Yeah. Do you know that? So Zelensky is, in his negotiations with Trump, I've noticed a pattern that he always likes to say this all started in 2014, and that Russia just, for no reason whatsoever, decided to invade them. And I don't really think that's the truth. That's not the truth as I understand it. There was a color revolution in Ukraine. I'm not saying Russia's 100% justified or anything like that. But it's a little more complicated. It's not like everything was going great and then just out of nowhere, Putin decided to invade. So when Putin draws the line right at when Zelensky draws the line, this all started in 2014. That's pretty easily refuted. But it paints him as this poor victim who did nothing wrong. And then, I don't know, Chuck, do you seen all that shit with Zelensky about like what he was before any of this happened? Do you know that whole story?
You mean about being a comedian?
And an actor and stuff?
Yeah,
But do you know about the TV show he was on?
Not really.
He played a regular dude who got elected president.
Okay.
Literally what he's doing right
What
now.
he's doing
that
right
was
now.
what the show was about, which
Right.
is a bit predictive programming if you believe in such things. But Zelensky has a billionaire backer for sure, and he has created all kinds, and you've seen him on this channel quite a bit, his weird dancing in lingerie and being extremely gay. Yeah, it's weird. And so that
he's definitely out over his skis right now.
he's like he's a puppet, I think. I don't know. But foreign policy, yes. I'm very curious how this gets addressed by Trump here. By the way, it is 48 minutes to go. Getting there. Wow, it's going by fast. This is not an apology. And Trump, just one thing we know about Trump is he doesn't take shit like this, for better or worse. So I'm hoping for some fireworks there.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's more coming. I think that when Trump said we're halting all aid to Ukraine, there's, the only thing he can do at that point is call the Europeans and go, do you guys want to pony up the difference?
Well, he's kind of tried to do that.
Oh, I know. And the Europeans were like, I think you better go suck up to Trump.
The
'cause
British gave
we
him
don't got
like
the
$2
cash.
billion or something.
What's that?
I think the UK promised like $2.5 billion.
$2.5 billion, yeah.
Versus what we would give him $350 billion. It's just a joke.
I don't actually think it's as high as $350 billion. That was what Trump tweeted, and that was contained within a tweet that was just pure bullshit, as it was.
I thought that's what he said when they were arguing. I thought he said 350.
I think that's been Trump's figure. That it's $350 billion.
What's the
I don't think
the left's figure?
I'm not sure that it's that much. I think it's somewhere between 2 and 300 billion.
Let's see if I can pull this up in Grok.
But
Oops. Grok. Where are you, Grok? How much money has the United States sent to Ukraine since the start of the war with... Oh, can't read my... We'll see what... Grok will figure that out. According to Grok... Man, he's really thinking. Since Russia's full-scale invasion began... Oh my gosh, hold on. This is, I don't really want to resize all my windows. I'll read it here. Since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine began on February 24th, the United States has provided significant blah, 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 blah. Congress has appropriated approximately $174.2 billion.
right.
In total and related aid, supplemental. However, not all of this amount has been directly sent to Ukraine, blah, 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 blah. Military aid, total direct aid. Okay. 120. Yeah, I mean, it's a number so large I can't comprehend it. That sounds like a lot of help. Versus $2 billion from the UK. I think they
absolutely
got a lot to make up there without us.
And I think that one of the things that Trump is trying to do through this too is to shock the Europeans into understanding that, if we aren't there, you can't take care of your own defense. Did you see what the Polish prime minister said? You should
recently
pull that up. Oh yeah, it was fantastic. And it basically said this. He goes, here's the ridiculousness of this. He said, you're asking 350 million Americans to pay the bulk of the aid that goes into fighting 190 million Russians, to protect 350. Yeah,
This might be it here.
yeah, there it is. Yeah,
It's not very long, only 37 seconds.
yeah.
Let's
Listen to this.
Let me reset it here. And make sure we're not going to get killed by her. Let's see. There we go.
I zobaczcie, jak to brzmi. 500 milionów Europejczyków prosi 300 milionów Amerykanów,
You
żeby oni ich obronili przed 140 milionami Rosjan. Chcę się powtórzyć tylko te słowa. Umiesz liczyć, to licz na siebie. Zacznij liczyć na siebie. Nie w odosobnieniu, ale z pełną świadomością własnego potencjału. Europa, jeśli czegoś dzisiaj nam brakuje, to przecież nie przewagi gospodarczej czy ludnościowej. tylko wiary w to, że
Okay.
jesteśmy naprawdę globalną potęgą.
So the gist, look how it sounds. 500 million Europeans are asking 300 million Americans to defend them against 140 million.
Yeah.
It's actually a great quote.
It is a great quote. And I think that's the point that Trump is trying to, the greater point that he's going to get across in this, which is, pull the rug, just threaten to pull the rug out from underneath Zelensky. And then what are you guys going to do for yourselves?
Yeah, and believe
which is long overdue.
Trump warned them about this back when he was president the first time around. He was laughed at by the Germans when he said, you guys got to start your own industry back up. Now
Right.
look at the shit show they're in. Yeah, this isn't it. Trump has been saying this for going on a decade. Is like, hey,
Right.
pay for your own shit. I wish I could maybe I can find that NATO spending chart. And that's another interesting, since we're still on foreign policy, by the way, is that potentially, there it is.
Yep.
Look at this joke.
It is a joke.
70% U.S.
Mm-hmm.
And you get all the way down, and then who even cares? Who even, like Greece or something?
Right.
Ukraine, probably. Oh, they're not in NATO yet, but they're trying to be. So, yeah, what will happen? Are we going to leave NATO? Will Ukraine join? I don't know.
No, you can't have Ukraine join NATO. You will not get any peace, and Russia will fire up again.
I don't see that happening yet.
Yeah, the sad fact is that Putin has the Russians believing that NATO's been all that NATO has ever been is a tripwire defensive force. It's not an offensive force. They have no interest in invading Russia, but you'll never convince Putin of that, which is the hard part.
Moving on. Still sort of, well, maybe we'll come back to it. But DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency. Elon Musk basically is the way to understand that. The left hates him now. DOGE news. Just slashing and burning and cutting. Announced their plan to bring back trillions of dollars stolen by corrupt politicians. I heard rumors we might get some $5,000 check, Chuck. A little socialism.
I like that. Everybody wants the spending to stop, but we'll take it coming our way.
If we have to borrow for that to happen, I don't know how I feel. But honestly,
I understand.
from where that money's coming from, I'll take it. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'd rather it go to me than whatever weird transsexual rabbit study it was going to go to. Like,
Exactly.
What kind of rap music do rabbits listen to while they're transitioning genders?
Yeah, but this Doge has announced their plans to bring back trillions of dollars stolen by corrupt. Well, there's not trillions being stolen. I mean, you can throw those figures around, but it takes a lot to get to $1 trillion.
I don't know, though. I think it is trillion. I mean,
No, well,
we're sending 174 billion to Ukraine. That's already.
there's only 174 billion to Ukraine.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's like already the sixth of a way to $1 trillion, isn't it? Just about.
What's that? Oh, the
174 billion. Yeah, I mean that's a lot.
Well, that's true.
Money
But,
ain't
well,
worth what
it all
you.
depends on how you.
Chuck, when you were riding your dinosaur to school, I get that $1 was worth a lot more.
What's that? When I walked my dinosaur to school, I like
Yeah,
that,
Bup Hill both ways in the snow with your grandmother on your back, isn't that? That's what your generation always says to me. I feel.
Yeah, we went to school. And didn't
But I
know
mean,
what
it's
the weather was.
it is it's a lot easier to hit $1 trillion than it used to be. It is just such a mind-bogglingly large number. But 90% is U.S. aid, of course. That's the big one they're going after. And as we've learned, it basically they've been taking our taxes and using it to fund our enemy. We've been paying
Absolutely.
for our enemies' war chest.
Absolutely.
And there's a shockingly huge amount of government leech-type employees who have just been having apparently quite awesome lives for the past decade doing jack shit. And here I am working and paying taxes.
Mm-hmm.
God, that pisses me off.
Well, it is, but it goes back to exactly what I said in the episode that we put out today, which is we have wanted to simply go to work, go home, enjoy our prosperity, and not be inconvenienced by anything. We never bothered to do anything to have any insight. We didn't care over all those years. We just said, hey, go to Washington, do your job, and don't be a pain in the ass for us. You can't live that way.
Here he is on YouTube at Chuck Mason Show. Chuck Mason, there he is. Very recognizable. He's bounced to the top of the list already. We're talking about this video. It was great. It
Now
was a
called
good.
conservative NPCs.
Oh, yeah, I threw a little NPC on your face. That's the only goofy thing I did, I promise.
That looks better than me anyway.
It's a little 13-minute. This is actually my favorite video you've made so far by quite a lot. So go check Chuck out. Throw him a subscribe, a follow, whatever the hell you call it these days. But that video was great. And you said something. So you ever seen the movie Boondock Saints? You ever heard? It's in the movie there's a reference to another real life, the murder of Kitty Genovese or whatever, was some famous murder where she was calling for help as she was getting murdered, and nobody went out and helped her, even though they were all could obviously hear her.
Yeah.
And so in the movie The Boondock Saints, it begins with this priest giving a sermon telling that story, and he says, "We're all afraid of evil men, but just as bad, if not worse, is the inaction of good men." Kind of reminded me what your video was about. I'm tired of conservative NPCs. Just like the left has their fair share of them, we have our fair share of people who don't seem to do a whole lot of thinking.
And they don't do a lot of action either.
Action. Well, yeah, so that never turns into action. But I didn't want to step on your toes there if you wanted to briefly summarize the points you made, if you can do it without bursting a blood vessel.
Well, yeah. Conservatives since Reagan have lived this life of luxury in which they believed that if they simply elected a president and a Congress, they could pass all the laws to preserve the America that we've all known and loved. And the conservatives never really had to get off their rear end and really do anything at all. Even donate money to candidates, volunteer time to help win elections, even the simplest things. And when you do that, you end up having like government waste, and if you're not involved in making sure that you get the world that you want. And that's the hard part. You know, I think what conservatives have done and Republicans is like anger is the new virtue signaling. You know, it's like, I'm pissed. I'm
That's
mad
good.
as hell, and I'm not taking it anymore. And guess what? Anger isn't
It's a little Network. Yeah, that's from Network, that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like anger is not a solution. Anger isn't, in getting pissed about something isn't any kind of a solution. And when you offer people, even on the level of local politics.
Yes, it does, William,
yes,
by the way.
There we go. Memes. But,
Wearing the hat, the great meme war, it must count.
but when working in politics at a local level, when you give people the simplest things that they can do, take one day out of the year, 3 hours out of one freaking day out of the year and volunteer. You can't get people to do that. It's like I said, I had this thing where I came up with this thing. If you took your spare change and put it in a red Solo cup on your kitchen counter,
This was good, yeah.
there's $30 in that red Solo cup. Okay? $30 in that red Solo cup. If you saved one red Solo cup's worth of change and donated that to your local Republican Party or local conservative or something along those lines. Here where we live in Center County, Pennsylvania, there are 40,000 registered Republicans. Are you ready for this? If each of those registered Republicans saved one Solo cup's worth of change and donated it, that's $1.2 million
Wouldn't even have to fundraise.
annually. I mean, God bless our Republican, our Center County Republican leadership. I wouldn't want to have to be handling a $1.2 million budget on an annual basis. But does this register with people out there? I mean, we don't have this, or we don't have that, or we can't do this, we can't do that. One cup's worth of change amounts to $1.2 million for every county in America, essentially. Because we're essentially a rural county here in Pennsylvania.
This is a comment from Juan Yankee. Says, done plenty of volunteer work. It's all a sham and controlled by the government. I think we're talking about, I clicked on a couple ones there by accident. Sorry.
Well,
Lord, sorry about that.
to Juan Yankee, I will simply...
Well, I was going to say, I think we're talking more about like knocking on doors to get votes, getting signs posted.
Exactly.
It makes a difference.
Yes, and the thing is, you can choose where your money goes. If you want to give it to your local school board candidate, you can give it to your local school board candidate. If you want to donate that money to your federal congressman as he is running, you can donate it there. There are different ways to do this that isn't controlled by government. And there are so many different ways to get active. But think about this, okay? You wonder why Doge has all kinds of spending, is uncovering all of this mess. Conservatives who claim that they're horrified by the direction of the United States won't save their freaking spare change or find one day out of the freaking year to volunteer 3 hours. And if that's going to be the case, you just shut the hell up. Because if you can't do that amount of work, then basically the bottom line is, do you really care?
People underestimate the importance of the school board. You had said something about that as well.
No, school boards are huge right now. The school boards are absolutely huge.
I kind of do agree with some of you guys in the comments. Sorry, I clicked your guys' 2 comments a bunch of times by accident, so they were going to cycle for a little bit. But I do agree that there's not really a whole lot of use in sending money to a corrupt political machine. What's interesting on the right, however, is I think there's a very real chance for a grassroots breakthrough here over the next 4 years or so. And then maybe that's like the last chance we ever get. I don't know. You have thought?
Well, okay, so that was the point that I made in the articles that were published by American Thinker, was that the difficulty or the challenge that we face, especially the one that was rejected by, especially the article that was rejected by the different websites, was this. You know, if we think that we can go back to what we did under Reagan, which is we've got Trump, we've got the White House, and we got Congress. We can go back to life as it used to be. We don't need to get involved in grassroots. We don't need to do that because Trump is handling everything from the White House. That is the biggest. That is the biggest challenge that we face, and really that's part of the biggest concern that I have.
I often think about what is going to happen once Trump is gone. I'm certainly not sad to have him now, and I'm very much looking forward to what's going to happen here in 32 minutes. But who's going to follow that up? Is it going to be Vance? Is it going to be Barron Trump ascending like Octavian or whatever?
He's going to be Octavius. There we go. You know, but you hit the nail right on the head, right there. What people need to start looking at is the long-term picture. There's the big picture. Because again and again and again, I'm going to say this, you know, celebrate what Trump has done, but it's all been done with the stroke of a pen. There's no legislation that's been passed, and the Dems shot down the transgender legislation. So my point is that if Trump is not, or Vance, if Vance is not elected, if a Republican is not elected in 28, then the minute the Dems' butt hits the seat,
same thing.
They're going to push the country to as far as they can to the left, as fast as they can, with the stroke of a pen.
Yeah, and I agree. We have a very real problem in the Republican Party of half of our own elected people are part of what the chat has been calling the Uniparty, and I agree. It's all so we got to get them out, and it can be done. I think that's where a lot of people have given up. I don't blame you, but. Like I said from well before the election, I'm all in on this one because if it's all rigged, if Trump is part of some kabuki theater and we're truly slaves, then we're fucked anyway. So I might as well hold out a little hope. Some things are definitely happening, but you do have agency. Like, we are real people. This is real life.
We have as much agency as relative to the amount of work that we want to put in.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here shit canning Trump. It's not.
Oh yeah, I don't think you are.
Yeah, it's not a criticism of Trump. It's the criticism of the conservative, you know,
myopia.
Yeah, the NPCs. Yeah,
the NPC. Chuck,
yeah,
I love that you're fucking embrace. Chuck comes in here, he was raging, he's all pissed, and he's like, "I'm so tired of these people." And then you use like all these descriptive terms. I was like, "Oh, you're talking about an NPC."
Like, yeah, what did I say? What the hell is that?
I don't even. Yeah, that's why I showed you the picture, which clearly you'd seen.
Well, you know, yeah, I've seen it all over the place.
Seen it a million times. So there you go.
No, but the point is,
welcome to the fold. You're a meme lord now, Chuck.
But yeah, I've seen that on Facebook how many times. But we've just lived for so long without having to do, with thinking that we didn't have to do anything. And that's why you have the corruption that you have with the image.
Well, you made a good point too, is like we may have fought like hell to get Trump back in office, but the goal of that was not to then step back and say, "Save me, Daddy Trump." You know what I mean? That is the biggest
biggest concern.
There was 2 really interesting reactions locally from the local people that I worked with on the election. And on the one hand was people that did that very thing. We won. Let's take a break.
Let's say right. No, it's
And then
like-
there's the people like myself and yourself and some other people who said it just started.
right.
It's not over. It's just getting started.
I can see with the amount of work that was put in for that election, if people took off from November 4th through January.
Everybody
1st.
deserved a little bit of it. Yeah, I mean, celebrate the win, for God's
Yeah,
sake.
but hey, man, get up off of your ass and get to work. So,
There is work to be done. Doge seems to be legitimately doing things. I'm looking forward to see where it goes. Social programs. Will Trump talk about social programs tonight? By that, we mean. I think I might have accidentally deleted that bullet point. Oh, here we go. While less detailed in previews, Trump could touch on lowering healthcare costs. That'd be great. Or contrast his approach with Democratic proposals, possibly criticizing past social spending he views as excessive. That's definitely an AI summary. Sorry about that. Lowering healthcare costs, cutting social programs. I'd be for both of those.
I would be. The left won't.
The healthcare costs are ridiculous. At the same time, you do want to have the best doctors. Like, I don't want to have socialized.
I'll give you a story about this.
Okay.
All right. You
Oh, real quick. Solitude 731, Dr. James Giordano / oh my God, this fucking
DARPA neuroprogramming.
DARPA, who's very well maybe behind Elon Musk as well. Advanced research projects. Go ahead, Chuck. Sorry.
Well, relative to healthcare, the issue is your healthcare now is being driven by so much technology and so much medication that come with certain fixed costs that the system is built to a point that none of us would go, hey, you know what? For cheaper healthcare, I'll take half of the coverage. For cheaper cost, I'll take half the healthcare. Like whenever you're sick, you want the MRI, you want the CAT scan, you want the latest cancer treatment, you want everything, and you really don't care how much that costs at the moment. So, my dad was a World War II veteran and a doctor, and he had his office in the basement of our home, and he used to charge people like $1.50 for an office visit in the basement of our home. My mom took care of all of the instruments, the linens, everything. There was no medical records. There was nothing like that, and that was like the cutting edge medical care in the '60s.
It's wild.
And we wouldn't. I mean, that seems like that's from the Stone Age today, with all that we're doing. But the problem is now that we have such advanced healthcare, it has like I said, there are fixed costs that are built into this, but we wouldn't even think about going, hey, you're right. I don't want to pay that much for health insurance, so I only take half the coverage.
I bet your dad knew a shit ton of more about medicine than the average doctor now does, though.
Well, it's really when he retired. Part of the reason why he retired was there was the litigation, but then it was all of the you couldn't be a doctor and diagnose. It had to be all documented. It had to be this. It had to be this. It had to be this. And he
Like the insurance, what you're saying, or
no, well, none of the insurance, but that was the charting had kicked in, and the cover your ass element of it. That you couldn't just go, hey, I thought it was this, and this is what we did. It was like, well, doc, you got to be able to justify what you're doing,
Yeah.
or else the lawyers will have a field day.
I mean, I'm old enough to remember going into the family medicine doctor, and that guy would just know what was wrong with you without ever looking at a computer or phone because he didn't have one.
Right.
And that last time I went in the doctor was about a year ago, and I don't think I'll ever go in again, tell you the truth. But it was somebody younger than me who like Googled my symptoms. They like WebMD'd it.
Yeah.
I was like, I could have done that.
Did you hear that now AI is making
Well, they're pushing for it because they're like,
more
if you're just
accurate
gonna-
diagnosis?
If you're just going to Google, then we might as well just have AI Google and then tell you. The
They
same.
have AI physicians now that have higher rates of accuracy than your.
Oh, I completely
doctor.
believe it. Yeah, and there's
So that's coming.
Even in this town, how many urgent care places have cropped up and stuff? And have you ever been to one of those? It's
Yeah, those niche markets where you don't have to go through the
I went to one once, and I was like, I think I know more about medicine than you guys do. But
a good
whatever.
place to go to get your antibiotics.
Yeah, it's cheap in some ways. So Social programs, I imagine that's about, this is where it gets tricky politically, because I think we'd all love to cut all of the social programs, but that leaves about half the voting population out to dry, and you know exactly what they're going to, I mean, they're probably already voting for Democrats anyway, let's be fair, but...
Well, even Republicans, and this was part of the thing in that article, it was in American Thinker, that I had said, we don't realize it. Hey, I'll be honest, okay? You cannot not get this. You ready? So, self-employed with two boys. That when you're self-employed with with children, and you meet certain income guidelines, you will get money back from the government in terms of the earning EITC, the Earned Income Tax Credit.
Okay.
Okay. You do. I mean, you could burn the check, and then guess what happens? Another check comes.
Really?
Yeah. If you don't, they'll follow up on that.
Interesting.
So my point is that so when as a family, when you get that payment back from the government, which could be thousands, in fact, it could be up to like $4,000 or $5,000 depending on the number of children you have and your income levels. That becomes a part of a family's budget. There are things like you take a vacation on that, or you'll buy Christmas presents with that. So, and those are conservatives just as much as they are Democrats,
Right?
Leftists. But look at somebody and go, just your basic average family. So there's so many social programs. Nearly everybody in America benefits from a social program at some point in their life. From cradle to grave, you will receive some level of entitlement from the government that you really don't want to consider living without. So cutting these programs really cuts deep on everybody, and they become so ingrained for so long that they've created dependency.
Yeah, I'm all for some kind of transition period, and maybe
I am too.
Maybe some of those programs end up staying around. And certainly anybody that's paid their whole life into Social Security ought to get that money back. There's that joke, if you take the amount and you just invested it.
Oh, hell yes. Oh, hell yes. It's so true. 100%. But it's a Ponzi scheme now. They have to have you paying in, you know. But you're absolutely right. If you were to have invested that money on your own,
It's a joke.
yeah.
Well, at least there's still a little bit in there now. I think by the time, well, I don't know if I'll live that. God, I hope I don't live till freaking 80. I'm tired already, Chuck. I'm ready to go.
You think you're tired, bro.
I can't. I look at you guys, and I'm like, how do you even get out of bed in the morning? Like, you've seen it all. You've talked about it all. Jim McCarty, happy Anal Tuesday, like that. You don't even smile anymore. You've just seen it 1,000 times. That's a great comment. Thank you. I don't know why it's Anal Tuesday, but keep that to yourself. DJS, the social programs only help you because you are taxed so much. Actually, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Don't take my money in the first place, and I will have it for those. That's a good comment. Good comment, DJS.
It is. And statewide, I know plenty of white people, myself included, who have never had any assistance. You know, I'm curious how old you are, and saying, but the reason why I say that is that you may be to this point in life been self-sufficient, but when you get older and you need Social Security and Medicare and
Which you're
Medicaid,
forced to pay into.
you're forced to pay into, when you're older and you need, and part of my article had said that, because we've seen this with my own family, if you have a person who is in a nursing home and they run out of their own personal funds, then I think Medicaid will pay for that person so that you don't have to bring them back into your home. And as people live longer, that means you're not changing diapers and you're not dealing with somebody with senility, or dementia. So even though you might be saying, and to your credit, yeah, I've never had any assistance, at some point from cradle to grave, you're probably going to come in contact with that.
And I am all for, I think a society all pulling in the same direction should support its people in need. There's always going to be circumstances outside of people's control, even like being born with a disability and things like that. If things were different, I don't think any of us would have a problem paying into a system like that quickly. Robert Pickles Nickel, and welcome back, by the way. Maybe we could have a more robust social safety net if we didn't let in tens of millions of third worlders and funded drag shows in Uzbekistan. Another great point. Equally good point.
Yep.
And that's kind of what Doge and these social programs are about. And of course, and U.S. aid and the insane amount of waste that was going on there. Yeah, it was clownish. But a perfectly great point. The wasteful. I mean, we once threw a bunch of tea into a harbor over what was it 1%?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's get back there.
You know what that was about? It wasn't about. It was about freedom. It was
Right.
about being free.
Just the idea of taxing it all pissed them off
Yes,
so much. Yeah.
yes.
Oh, I would love to go back and hang out with some of those dudes, and I'd like to pick their brains on what they would do right now. Well, they'd probably all be in jail in about 30 seconds because they don't know they're being watched by satellites these days. But
Right.
yeah, that was original American culture right there. Europe likes to say, speaking of Europe, that we don't have any. Yeah, we do. We chuck tea in harbors, bitches. It's incredible. It's one of the greatest countries ever because of shit like that.
Yeah.
But I digress. By the way, 19 minutes, and a little under 19 minutes
Yep.
left to go.
There's it's like I said, this has gone on so long, and it is touching so many people that it has become a sense of dependency.
Right.
That it's really hard for people to even conceive.
Quite literally, they
living
feel
them without
entitled,
that.
right?
Right.
Yeah, like when you get all this free shit and it's taken away, you feel like you're being robbed.
You being robbed, exactly.
And so I don't know. Maybe there's a way to let them down easy. Maybe that's what all these news and announcement. That's like exactly what they're doing is preparing people for for a harsh awakening, I guess. But on to the final sort of pre-show topic, which what in the goofiness was that? Let me fix that. Sorry. Oh, I know what I forgot. I thought I forgot a transform, and I'm realizing I just did the wrong one. So in 1 second, there it is. National security. Oh, it lost all its magic. It seemed like it was animated, but it's just a bunch of stills. National security, per the summary, and law enforcement, I guess it says, topics like restoring fair and equal rule of law, echoing his executive orders against perceived government weaponization. Perceived, it's real. And enhancing domestic security might feature potentially tied to his border security narrative. Fair and equal rule of law. The law is hilariously misapplied. It's gotten so bad, in my opinion, you've heard the term lawfare. But the laws are straight up written in ambiguous ways now so that they can be selectively enforced, is the way I see it.
Well, I agree with you. And the laws that are on our books are written with us sharing a certain fundamental set of assumptions about what is right, the way that we should live life, and what is wrong, what is acceptable and versus what is unacceptable. And part of what bounded those laws, because it's almost impossible to write a law that is so specific that you can cover every externality.
Right.
But
especially against bad actors.
Yeah, exactly, because everything can be subjective. But it was our fundamental set of shared assumptions that bounded us. But now I keep saying, and I think the next episode that I do for my show is going to be they're no longer Americans. The left is dealing with a whole completely different set of ideological principles. They're no longer Americans from the sense of believing in individual freedom as we have known it, individual self-determination, free markets, and our legal system basically came from the precepts of basically the Mosaic Law. They don't believe in any of that any longer. So they're deconstructing it as they go moment by moment. So when he's talking about, what he says about having the rule of law applied equally and fairly, that is under a given set of assumptions that the left doesn't buy into any longer.
I don't think the left has any interest in a law that gets applied equally, tell you the truth. It's all this cheating, I used to, even as a little kid, I never understood people who cheated at meaningless even you're not even betting anything and people still cheat.
Right.
And I used to always think how do you feel good, or sports, even Little League, kids that are older than 12 that play in the Little League World Series, that kind of shit. To me, to cheat that way and win doesn't feel like winning. It's not, I just wouldn't do it. But you learn as you get older that there's quite a large proportion of adults that do do that, which is wild. And then I think in the past decade, I've learned, my God, they're all Democrats. Like it's a mindset. They don't mind cheating at all so long as they win. They still feel like winners somehow. And that to me is some sort of lie they're able to tell themselves that I'm not able to tell myself.
Well, they don't share your fundamental. They don't share your fundamental assumptions about what is right, what is wrong, what is honor, what is acceptable.
Well, what is the what are their fundamental assumptions then, do you think? Might makes right?
Well, they're collectivists. They're collectivists, they're Marxists. They do not believe in
they assume anybody that's wealthy or has accrued wealth and it like cheated, like they,
yes.
Okay.
So what they see everybody talks about Marxism. Marx said, if you have wealth, you've created inequality with wealth. So you've created unfair advantages through your use of power or coercion or whatever oppression to get those resources, and the people that don't have them are going to die. So it's a form of genocide.
Okay.
So what this filtered down through our culture.
That's great.
Now the left says any hierarchy, any inequality, any difference in outcome happen as a use of power. So that, so if you want to keep a transgender individual, because remember, gender is a social construct.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now if you say you can't let somebody who identifies as a woman participate in women's sports, you're creating an inequality for that person, because they're not allowed to have equal fair access within the culture. And so that individual is going to be forced into a life of self-denial and depression and anxiety, and they will ultimately commit suicide. So your act of saying no is an act of genocide. I'm not kidding.
No, I know.
I am totally not kidding.
You're saying it so succinctly. It's just funny to hear it.
See where the different set of assumptions come from? So they are not dealing with the same fundamental set of assumptions that we are.
So what do you do about that? Can there be a reconciliation at that
There's
point?
no reconciliation. No reconciliation. None whatsoever.
Are we two, in a general sense, are there two species of humans walking around right now, and one of them's going to win out, and they're going to have to kill all the other ones?
All right. Tell me if I get too deep in the weeds here.
No, we still got 12 minutes.
So here's the problem that's happening in America. Marxism and critical theory and postmodern philosophy entered in through the universities and made it down through our culture. We have never been able to coexist with Marxism and freedom in America anywhere on the globe, period. We're not going to coexist with it here in the United States. But the left has basically given up on their traditional American worldview, and they're in a post-Christian world. And this is what they are. This is the paradigm through which they see reality. Take a look at what happened with the damn vote on the transgender protecting women in sports bill.
Yeah.
Every Democrat in the House, except two from freaking Texas, voted yes on the damn thing, and the Democrats in the Senate blocked the bill from making it through. You don't think they're doubling down on this crap? They totally are. So this is the paradigm that they see the world, the lens through which they see the world. And so the answer is, do you want to coexist with this?
It's kind of weird because like back in the Bill Clinton days or anything, all that sort of fruitcakey liberal, everybody's the same stuff was because it got them votes. Mm-hmm. Like I don't think Bill Clinton gives a flying fuck about any of that stuff. He's a savage political animal. Mm-hmm. But like it's like they're true believers now, and people are fleeing the Democrat Party because it's freaky. They're like, what? You really think this?
There is a totally different world view. They have given up on these assumptions, and this is what woke is.
Yeah, sure.
Woke is just an awakening to seeing the world through this oppression lens, to see the world through the lens of critical theory. Marx said oppression and exploitation and genocide comes through capitalism. And critical theory just said, well, we agree with this concept, but it just isn't limited to capitalism and economics. It's every hierarchy, in Western culture happens because individuals say they have the right to do what is best for their lives instead of saying what is the collective best for society. And that's completely the lens that they see it through.
Solitude 731, the left cheats because they want to ban guns, which they do. I think that's one of the many reasons they cheat. I don't even know if they have reasons anymore. It's borderline delusional if it's not outright schizophrenic at this point. I mean, they're so fucking bad. David Hogg, that little rat guy, you know, is the oop, something's afoot. Something's afoot behind me. Hold on. Let me refresh it and see what happens here real quick. Please spare me from having to talk any more about David Hogg. Well, I'll tell you what. It's 9 o'clock. This is scheduled to start at 9:10. It looks like they are loading it up. So what I'm going to do here right now is pull this up full screen. I am going to pull you fine gentlemen and gentlewomen, and yes, I just assumed your genders, in the chat there. I'm going to leave our cameras off. I'm going to kill our mics here. I'm going to go grab one more cigar, I think, since we're going to be sitting here for at least another hour. And that'll give us a chance to hit the head or grab another beer or whatever you feel like. There you go. We will begin shortly. About 10 minutes, it looks like. We'll be back in far less than 10 minutes. I'm going to throw some music on for you world champions. Let's let that loop. Chuck and I will be back very shortly. And as you can see on your screen, we will begin shortly.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. The smoking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow. The smoking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. The smoking timeline is lit all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow. The smoking timeline is all over. It's over. World's biggest Alex Joner.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs. All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
Holy fucking shit. The smoking timeline is lit all
Oh, we're getting close. Getting close.
world's biggest Alex Joner.
We'll turn this down a little bit. It's less than 10 minutes. What do we got? 9:04. 9:04. I might start up one more. Oh, look at all those Harambe's flying across the screen. Yes, this is an original old school John Ward track playing right now. Extremely vulgar. Sorry about that. Oh, goodness. Let me get that off of there. What is going on, chat? We got about 5 minutes, allegedly. I don't have a torch, which is annoying. But let's pull you guys up and have some chat skis. Good time to remind you that you can send up to 10 emojis, maybe more than that, apparently. They will fly across the screen. I see lots of new blue badge channel members, which is 1 year. Linda Love and William Maines right there above you. We got William Maines' awesome artwork on the wall. White is 6 months. Yellow is 0 to 6 months. So thank you to all you channel members. All of your names should be green. I disconnected the Pilled chat, though we're still live on Pilled because it has that goofy disconnecting notice it likes to send here and there. And, of course, we're also live on X, and you can chat with us on X. Let me just make sure that is still working. It sure looks like it is. Let's see if a John Ward X chat pops up here at the bottom. Yes, it does. So feel free to jump in there, and you can chat from either platform. Linda, what's going on? Kisses. Great to have your moderation. I don't know if you've ever actually moderated or not. We might have to ban you. You're one of the most out-of-control world champions in here. Let's see who we got. We got Stay White, welcome. Storm Clouds, Rita Serrano, one of my favorite peppers. Chronic, there he is. Always good to see you, buddy. Lauren Elise, welcome. The Right Arm of the Free World, welcome. William Maines, of course, does some often artwork. Name. I bought both your albums. When the Fuckery Part 3. When the fuck is the next album coming out? I've actually been working on it, believe it or not. Robert Whaley, world champion, welcome. There you go, the 6-month badge. Headed for blue. Always good to have you, Robert. Moonchild, love to all. Great to have you, one of our esteemed moderators in the Gilded channel. No, it has not started yet. I'm keeping an eye on it. Ferd Turgeson, a nice flip on the old Norm MacDonald. Turd Ferguson, I respect it. Dude, check it out. Clay Old, what's going on? Waiting, yeah, what is it? 9:07. Any minute. Still says we will begin shortly. I assure you. Let's see, who else have I not said hello to? Aries War, what's going on? Welcome back. Fuck your fifis, welcome back. Tricky spelling, but I got you. Laughing Dog, 3cc member, what's going on? It's like drug rehab awards for patriots, but we get worse, not better. Jay, El Presidente aquí is here. Has not started yet, I promise you. It is right behind me there. We will begin shortly. Concealed Aces. Hi, John. What's going on, Concealed Aces? Pictish. I guess John is not going to show the walk-ins to the speech then. The walk-ins? I'm not sure what you mean, Pictish. I don't want to piss you off, but this is all I'm getting from the White House stream so far. And that's the stream I want to use, rather than CNN or something like that. Oil Susie, what's going on? Matt Patterson. Oh, Tom Anon Bear with the year badge. World champions in hard M's. Welcome, Tom Anon Bear. Robbie C. Christy Nome is a smoke show. Just keep your dogs away from her. Let me turn your mic back on here.
Exactly. But who would want to put up with that, though? I'll tell you that, right?
I feel like she's pretty high maintenance.
No, she'd be off the chart high.
You gotta buy her nice clothes, and you also have to buy yourself chain
you know what?
mail.
I don't think it would be buying about anything. I don't think it would be about buying her anything. You would be putting up with her agenda. She would be running the show. Trust me.
You think she goes off to work and you stay home and do the dishes and clean and shit? Just hope to God she doesn't shoot you when she gets back because you're good for nothing anymore. M3 Thawed Bombs. World motherfucking champions, you dickweeds. Yes, we all like to disrespect each other in good nature. In good nature. It's just what this channel has turned into. I'm for it. I encourage it. Robert Picklesnickel. John, Liberal Woman, Pocahontas song is an absolute banger. In Indiana, you'd be the least Indian Indianan, lives rent-free in my head. That was one of my better rhymes. That is the only song that ever got legitimately banned off YouTube.
What was that?
I made this song called Liberal Woman, making fun of Elizabeth Warren, how she's a fake Native American. And I got that. Usually when you get a song or a video taken down on YouTube, that's actually worth knowing now that you're making them. Like, nothing really happens. You just can't run ads on it and stuff, but it's still there. If you really cross the line, they, like, ban the video. Yeah, and so I've only ever had one, and it was that song. And I still hold it was because it was so effective. But, yeah, I should dig that one back up. You can still listen to it on the Bat Soup album. But the video is gone. It might be on Odyssey. I'm not sure. It's still, by the way, keep an eye on it. We will begin shortly. I'm trying to light this cigar in between talking. Matt Patterson, Don't Look at My Face, hit number 4 on the Canadian charts. That's also a good one. This Cat is the best John Ward track ever, in my opinion. Thank you, Pictish. I also do like that one. It's sounding like I maybe need to get this next album out. You guys are tired of my live streams and my shenanigans, and you just want to rage to some mimetic music. Pictish says Trump is entering. Let me just refresh this. Jesus. Now I'm second guessing myself. All right, not there yet. Not there yet. Now I've created a canoe. Thank you very much.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
I will take a quick peruse here. Let's just get it up on the big screen. Let's get ourselves up there, and let's get you up there, chat. Close to entering. Okay, you had me worried. Oh, man. 9:11. He's 1 minute behind. Any second now, we'll get started. And then we kind of have the habit of, during the actual speech, once he starts speaking, we mostly just listen. We'll, of course, react a little bit. We can't help it. By all means, keep sending the emojis and all that. You guys are very good at keeping it under control. If for some reason you guys go a little too out of control with the emojis, I may turn those off, but I'm not worried about it. We have only ever had to do that once. So yeah, put in your final bets. These were the topics: economic policies, trade and tariffs, border security, foreign policy, DOGE, social programs, national security. Very curious what's going to go down. We have about 225 of you currently in here. About 2,500 have come through so far. That's impressive. It's a hell of a watch party. If you got a drink, grab your drink. I'm going to leave Chuck in the dust here. He's going to find me on the floor in the morning.
It'll all have been worth it.
You having fun, man? I'm glad you're here. I feel like you're having fun.
No, I'm having a good time. It's hard to beat. Beer, scotch, politics.
Beer, scotch.
Cigars.
We'll get a cigar in you here sooner or later.
Yeah, one of these days.
All right. Thank you for putting the heat on me to stop the cigarettes. My voice has been like this for like a month now.
Yeah, we all need to put some heat on you to stop the cigarettes, bro. It's nothing but the best for you.
Stacking coins. I'm here with you, brother. Solitude, all of his federal agents, and me. Yeah, we all have our personal FBI agent that's watching us right now too. They're watching this. It's always fun. Minds is the only platform. I might have to go. I talked to what's his name, Bill, the guy that owns that company. I was telling you that story actually.
What company is that?
Minds. You ever use Minds? Yeah, it's part of that whole explosion where there was like 20 different ones, but I do like Pilled. Shout out to Pilled, other than the weird chat toggle thing that happens, but Pilled has never given me any issues whatsoever. Robbie C. Lynn. Yep. All right. Chat away. It's got to be starting soon. I will, I might take a peek here. Yeah. Nah. Nope. Everybody's waiting, so we will wait.
All of my sexual fantasies involve handcuffs.
We will wait. Chuck, you want to do shots while we're waiting?
You know what? I'll.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, no, dude. I'll support you in
Yeah.
the endeavor you want to do.
Got to get you in here on a cider house on Thursday where it gets really out of control. Brett Farrar. Let's hope. Oh.
There you go.
All right, let's kill this music. And sound. All right, here we go. Trying to say I don't recognize any of these people yet.
There's Schumer in Durban.
Yeah. Saw Rubio there for a second in the background. Oh, Supreme Court, of course. The robes. Kavanaugh.
Barrett.
Thank you, William Maines. Rather crap in my hands and clap than listen to Camel Toe. So glad Trump won. Hey, why aren't those people clapping?
Because they're freaking Marxists. What more do I have to say?
We're just talking about that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, you would think, in years gone by, the Democrats would have clapped because it's America. That's what they are. They're no longer Americans. They are no longer freaking Americans.
It's right there, live and in living color.
Live and in living
for
color.
your eyeballs
Look
to
at the
see.
difference. They are no longer, and in fact, if that would have been Harris up there, the Republicans would have been clapping.
They would have.
They are no longer freaking Americans.
Speaker Johnson, Vice President Vance, the First Lady of the United States,
So much class.
members of the United States Congress, thank you very much, and to my fellow citizens, America is back.
Look at them, the freaking Marxists.
Maybe we will. Nobody special. I don't know what's going to happen tonight.
6 weeks ago, I stood beneath the dome of this Capitol and proclaimed the dawn of the golden age of America. From that moment on, it has been nothing but swift and unrelenting action to usher in the greatest and most successful era in the history of our country. We have accomplished more in 43 days than most administrations accomplished in 4 years or 8 years, and we are just getting started.
Yeah.
Thank you. I return to this chamber tonight to report that America's momentum is back, our spirit is back, our pride is back, our confidence is back, and the American dream is surging bigger and better than ever before. The American dream is unstoppable, and our country is on the verge of a comeback, the likes of which the world has never witnessed and perhaps will never witness again. There's never been anything like it. The presidential election of November 5th was a mandate like has not been seen in many decades. We won all 7 swing states, giving us an electoral college victory of 312 votes. We won the popular vote by big numbers and won counties in our country.
Okay, if you want to see how divided America is, you look at that right there.
That's crazy.
It is crazy how divided we are. This is...
I think they just were booing when he said he won the popular vote.
Yes, they were booing. This is how divided we are as America.
And won counties in our country, 2,700 to 525, on a map that reads almost completely red for Republican. Now, for the first time in modern history, more Americans believe that our country is headed in the right direction than the wrong direction. In fact, it's an astonishing record, 27-point swing, the most ever. Likewise, small business optimism saw its single largest one-month gain ever recorded.
Mr. President.
A 41-point jump.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House and to cease any further disruptions. That's your warning.
That's how divided we are right there.
Members are engaging in willful and continuing breach of decorum, and the chair is prepared to direct the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order to the joint session.
There you go.
I think it's going to happen, too.
Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
That did not take long.
It did not, but this shows you the level of division.
I wonder when the last time that's happened was. See ya.
Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you. Over the past 6 weeks, I have signed nearly 100 executive orders and taken more than 400 executive actions, a record to restore common sense, safety, optimism, and wealth all across our wonderful land. The people elected me to do the job, and I'm doing it. In fact, it has been stated by many that the first month of our presidency, it's our presidency, is the most successful in the history of our nation. By many. And what makes it even more impressive is that, do you know who number 2 is? George Washington. How about that? How about that? I don't know about that list, but we'll take it. Within hours of taking the oath of office, I declared a national emergency on our southern border, and I deployed the U.S. military and Border Patrol to repel the invasion of our country. And what a job they've done. As a result, illegal border crossings last month were by far the lowest ever recorded, ever. They heard my words and they chose not to come. Much easier that way. In comparison, under Joe Biden, the worst president in American history, there were hundreds of thousands of illegal crossings a month, and virtually all of them, including murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and people from mental institutions and insane asylums, were released into our country. Who would want to do that? This is my 5th such speech to Congress. And once again, I look at the Democrats in front of me, and I realize there is absolutely nothing I can say to make them happy or to make them stand or smile or applaud. Nothing I can do. I could find a cure to the most devastating disease, a disease that would wipe out entire nations, or announce the answers to the greatest economy in history, or the stoppage of crime to the lowest levels ever recorded. And these people sitting right here will not clap, will not stand, and certainly will not cheer for these astronomical achievements. They won't do it, no matter what. Five times I've been up here. It's very sad, and it just shouldn't be this way. So Democrats sitting before me, for just this one night, why not join us in celebrating so many incredible wins for America? For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
It's like an auction for retards.
There you look at that. Special, I shouldn't say that.
I'll say it for you, Chuck.
Every day my administration is fighting to deliver the change America needs to bring a future that America deserves, and we're doing it. This is a time for big dreams and bold action. Upon taking office, I imposed an immediate freeze on all federal hiring, a freeze on all new federal regulations, and a freeze on all foreign aid. I terminated the ridiculous Green New Scam. I withdrew from the unfair Paris Climate Accord, which was costing us trillions of dollars that other countries were not paying. I withdrew from the corrupt World Health Organization. And I also withdrew from the anti-American UN Human Rights Council. We ended all of Biden's environmental restrictions that were making our country far less safe and totally unaffordable. And importantly, we ended the last administration's insane electric vehicle mandate, saving our auto workers and companies from economic destruction. To unshackle our economy, I have directed that for every one new regulation, 10 old regulations must be eliminated, just like I did in my very successful first term.
Is that decimation, Chuck?
What's that?
From ancient Rome, decimation?
Yeah, pretty much.
Kill one in every 10.
And in that first term,
mean,
we set records on ending unnecessary rules and regulations like no other president had done before. We ordered all federal workers to return to the office. They will either show up for work in person or be removed from their job.
It's the divided America right there.
And we have ended weaponized government where, as an example, a sitting president is allowed to viciously prosecute his political opponent, like me. How did that work out? Not too good. And I have stopped all government censorship and brought back free speech in America. It's back. And 2 days ago, I signed an order making English the official language of the United States of America. I renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. And likewise, I renamed, for a great president, William McKinley, Mount McKinley again. Beautiful Alaska. We love Alaska. We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. And our country will be woke no longer. We believe that whether you are a doctor, an accountant, a lawyer, or an air traffic controller, you should be hired and promoted based on skill and competence, not race or gender. Very important. You should be hired based on merit. And the Supreme Court, in a brave and very powerful decision, has allowed us to do so. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. We have removed the poison of critical race theory from our public schools, and I signed an order making it the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
Half the elected officials don't clap for that.
That's what I'm saying.
fucking crazy.
They're no longer Americans. We're dealing with a completely
I also
different
signed
ideology.
an executive order to ban men from playing in women's sports.
He needs a more expensive suit.
Is he slouching?
I don't know.
3 years ago, Peyton McNabb was an all-star high school athlete, one of the best, preparing for a future in college sports. But when her girls' volleyball match was invaded by a male, he smashed the ball so hard in Peyton's face, causing traumatic brain injury, partially paralyzing her right side and ending her athletic career. It was a shot like she's never seen before. She's never seen anything like it. Peyton is here tonight in the gallery, and Peyton, from now on, schools will kick the men off the girls' team, or they will lose all federal funding. And if you really want to see numbers, just take a look at what happened in the women's boxing, weightlifting, track and field, swimming, or cycling, where a male recently finished a long-distance race 5 hours and 14 minutes ahead of a woman for a new record by 5 hours. Broke the record by 5 hours. It's demeaning for women, and it's very bad for our country. We're not going to put up with it any longer. What I have just described is only a small fraction of the common sense revolution that is now, because of us, sweeping the entire world. Common sense has become a common theme, and we will never go back. Never. Never going to let that happen. Among my very highest priorities is to rescue our economy and get dramatic and immediate relief to working families. As you know, we inherited from the last administration an economic catastrophe and an inflation nightmare. Their policies drove up energy prices, pushed up grocery costs, and drove the necessities of life out of reach for millions and millions of Americans. They've never had anything like it. We suffered the worst inflation in 48 years, but perhaps even in the history of our country. They're not sure. As president, I'm fighting every day to reverse this damage and make America affordable again. Joe Biden especially let the price of eggs get out of control. The egg price is out of control, and we're working hard to get it back down. Secretary, do a good job on that. You inherited a total mess from the previous administration. Do a good job. A major focus of our fight to defeat inflation is rapidly reducing the cost of energy. The previous administration cut the number of new oil and gas leases by 95%, slowed pipeline construction to a halt, and closed more than 100 power plants. We are opening up many of those power plants right now. And frankly, we have never seen anything like it. That's why on my first day in office, I declared a national energy emergency. As you've heard me say many times, we have more liquid gold under our feet than any nation on earth, and by far. And now I fully authorize the most talented team ever assembled to go and get it. It's called Drill, Baby, Drill.
Thank you, Mark Pierce. Pull a Saddam Hussein.
My administration is also working on a gigantic natural gas pipeline in Alaska, among the largest in the world, where Japan, South Korea, and other nations want to be our partner with investments of trillions of dollars each. There's never been anything like that one. It will be truly spectacular. It's all set to go. The permitting is gotten. And later this week, I will also take historic action to dramatically expand production of critical minerals and rare earths here in the USA. To further combat inflation, we will not only be reducing the cost of energy, but will be ending the flagrant waste of taxpayer dollars. And to that end, I have created the brand new Department of Government Efficiency, GOGE. Perhaps you've heard of it.
There it is.
Perhaps. Which is headed by Elon Musk, who is in the gallery tonight. Thank you, Elon. He's working very hard. He didn't need this. He didn't need this. Thank you very much. We appreciate it. Everybody here, even this side, appreciates it, I believe. They just don't want to admit that. Just listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real. $32 million for a left-wing propaganda operation in Moldova. $10 million for male circumcision in Mozambique. $20 million for the Arab Sesame Street in the Middle East. It's a program. $20 million for a program. $1.9 billion to recently created Decarbonization of Homes Committee, headed up, and we know she's involved. Just at the last moment, the money was passed over by a woman named Stacey Abrams. Have you ever heard of her? A $3.5 million consulting contract for lavish fish monitoring. $1.5 million for voter confidence in Liberia. $14 million for social cohesion in Mali. $59 million for illegal alien hotel rooms in New York City. He's a real estate developer. He's done very well. $250,000 to increase vegan local climate action innovation in Zambia. $42 million for social and behavior change in Uganda. $14 million for improving public procurement in Serbia. $47 million for improving learning outcomes in Asia. Asia's doing very well with learning. I don't know what we're doing. We should use it ourselves. And $101 million for DEI contracts at the Department of Education, the most ever paid, nothing even like it. Under the Trump administration, all of these scams, and they're far worse, but I didn't think it was appropriate to talk about them. They're so bad. Many more have been found out and exposed and swiftly terminated by a group of very intelligent, mostly young people, headed up by Elon, and we appreciate it. We found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud. And we've taken back the money and reduced our debt to fight inflation and other things. Taken back a lot of that money. We got it just in time. This is just the beginning. The Government Accountability Office, a federal government office, has estimated annual fraud of over $500 billion in our nation, and we are working very hard to stop it. We're going to. We're also identifying shocking levels of incompetence and probable fraud in the Social Security program for our seniors, and that our seniors and people that we love rely on. Believe it or not, government databases list 4.7 million Social Security members from people aged 100 to 109 years old. It lists 3.6 million people from ages 110 to 119. I don't know any of them. I know some people that are rather elderly, but not quite that elderly. 3.47 million people from ages 120 to 129. 3.9 million people from ages 130 to 139. 3.5 million people from ages 140 to 149. And money is being paid to many of them, and we're searching right now. In fact, Pam, good luck. Good luck. You're going to find it. But a lot of money is paid out to people because it just keeps getting paid, and nobody does, and it really hurts Social Security and hurts our country. 1.3 million people from ages 150 to 159, and over 130,000 people, according to the Social Security databases, are age over 160 years old. We have a healthier country than I thought, Bobby. Including, to finish, 1,039 people between the ages of 220 and 229, one person between the age of 240 and 249, and one person is listed at 360 years of age. More than 100 years older than our country. But we're going to find out where that money's going, and it's not going to be pretty. By slashing all of the fraud, waste, and theft we can find, we will defeat inflation, bring down mortgage rates, lower car payments and grocery prices, protect our seniors, and put more money in the pockets of American families. And today, interest rates took a beautiful drop, big, beautiful drop. It's about time. And in the near future, I want to do what has not been done in 24 years, balance the federal budget. We're going to balance it. With that goal in mind, we have developed in great detail what we are calling the Gold Card, which goes on sale very, very soon. For $5 million, we will allow the most successful job-creating people from all over the world to buy a path to U.S. citizenship. It's like the green card, but better and more sophisticated. And these people will have to pay tax in our country. They won't have to pay tax from where they came. The money that they've made, you wouldn't want to do that, but they have to pay tax, create jobs. They'll also be taking people out of colleges and paying for them so that we can keep them in our country instead of having them being forced out. Number one, at the top school, as an example, being forced out and not being allowed to stay and create tremendous numbers of jobs and great success for a company out there. So while we take out the criminals, killers, traffickers, and child predators who are allowed to enter our country under the open border policy of these people, the Democrats, the Biden administration, the open border insane policies that you've allowed to destroy our country, we will now bring in brilliant, hardworking, job-creating people. They're going to pay a lot of money, and we're going to reduce our debt with that money. Americans have given us a mandate for bold and profound change. For nearly 100 years, the federal bureaucracy has grown until it has crushed our freedoms, ballooned our deficits, and held back America's potential in every possible way. The nation founded by pioneers and risk-takers now drowns under millions and millions of pages of regulations and debt. Approvals that should take 10 days to get instead take 10 years, 15 years, and even 20 years before you're rejected. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of thousands of federal workers who have not been showing up to work. My administration will reclaim power from this unaccountable bureaucracy, and we will restore true democracy to America again. And any federal bureaucrat who resists this change will be removed from office immediately. Because we are draining the swamp. It's very simple. And the days of rule by unelected bureaucrats are over. And the next phase of our plan to deliver the greatest economy in history is for this Congress to pass tax cuts for everybody. They're in there. They're waiting for you to vote. And I'm sure that the people on my right, I don't mean the Republican right, but my right here, I'm sure you're going to vote for those tax cuts, because otherwise I don't believe the people will ever vote you into office. So I'm doing you a big favor by telling you that. But I know this group is going to be voting for the tax. Thank you. It's a very, very big part of our plan. We had tremendous success in our first term with it. A very big part of our plan. We're seeking permanent income tax cuts all across the board. And to get urgently needed relief to Americans hit especially hard by inflation, I'm calling for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great seniors. And I also want to make interest payments on car loans tax deductible, but only if the car is made in America. And by the way, we're going to have growth in the auto industry like nobody's ever seen. Plants are opening up all over the place. Deals are being made. Never seen. That's a combination of the election win and tariffs. It's a beautiful word, isn't it? That, along with our other policies, will allow our auto industry to absolutely boom. It's going to boom. Spoke to the majors today, all three, the top people, and they're so excited. In fact, already numerous car companies have announced that they will be building massive automobile plants in America, with Honda just announcing a new plant in Indiana, one of the largest anywhere in the world. And this has taken place since our great victory on November 5th, a date which will hopefully go down as one of the most important in the history of our country. In addition, as part of our tax cuts, we want to cut taxes on domestic production and all manufacturing. And just as we did before, we will provide 100% expensing. It will be retroactive to January 20th, 2025. And it was one of the main reasons why our tax cuts were so successful in our first term, giving us the most successful economy in the history of our country. First term. We had a great first term. If you don't make your product in America, however, under the Trump administration, you will pay a tariff, and in some cases, a rather large one. Other countries have used tariffs against us for decades, and now it's our turn to start using them against those other countries. On average, the European Union, China, Brazil, India, Mexico, and Canada, have you heard of them? And countless other nations charge us tremendously higher tariffs than we charge them. It's very unfair. India charges us auto tariffs higher than 100%. China's average tariff on our products is twice what we charge them. And South Korea's average tariff is 4 times higher. Think of that, 4 times higher. And we give so much help militarily and in so many other ways to South Korea. But that's what happens. This is happening by friend and foe. This system is not fair to the United States and never was. And so on April 2nd, I wanted to make it April 1st, but I didn't want to be accused of April Fool's Day. That's not, just one day cost us a lot of money. But we're going to do it in April. I'm a very superstitious person. April 2nd, reciprocal tariffs kick in. And whatever they tariff us, other countries, we will tariff them. That's reciprocal, back and forth. Whatever they tax us, we will tax them. If they do non-monetary tariffs to keep us out of their market, then we will do non-monetary barriers to keep them out of our market. There's a lot of that, too. They don't even allow us in their market. We will take in trillions and trillions of dollars and create jobs like we have never seen before. I did it with China, and I did it with others, and the Biden administration couldn't do anything about it because there was so much money they couldn't do anything about it. We have been ripped off for decades by nearly every country on earth, and we will not let that happen any longer. Much has been said over the last 3 months about Mexico and Canada. But we have very large deficits with both of them. But even more importantly, they've allowed fentanyl to come into our country at levels never seen before, killing hundreds of thousands of our citizens and many very young, beautiful people, destroying families. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. They are, in effect, receiving subsidies of hundreds of billions of dollars. We pay subsidies to Canada and to Mexico of hundreds of billions of dollars, and the United States will not be doing that any longer. We're not going to do it any longer. Thanks to our America First policies we're putting into place, we have had $1.7 trillion of new investment in America in just the past few weeks. The combination of the election and our economic policies that people of SoftBank, one of the most brilliant anywhere in the world, announced a $200 billion investment. OpenAI and Oracle, Larry Ellison, announced $500 billion investment, which they wouldn't have done if Kamala had won. Apple announced $500 billion investment. Tim Cook called me. He said, I cannot spend it fast enough. It's going to be much higher than that, I believe. They'll be building their plants here instead of in China. And just yesterday, Taiwan Semiconductor, the biggest in the world, most powerful in the world, has a tremendous amount, 97% of the market, announced a $165 billion investment to build the most powerful chips on earth right here in the USA. And we're not giving them any money. Your CHIPS Act is a horrible, horrible thing. We give hundreds of billions of dollars, and it doesn't mean a thing. They take our money and they don't spend it. All that meant to them, we're giving them no money. All that was important to them was they didn't want to pay the tariffs, so they came and they're building, and many other companies are coming. We don't have to give them money. We just want to protect our businesses and our people. And they will come because they won't have to pay tariffs if they build in America. So it's very amazing. You should get rid of the CHIP Act, and whatever's left over, Mr. Speaker, you should use it to reduce debt or any other reason you want to. Our new trade policy will also be great for the American farmer. I love the farmer, who will now be selling into our home market, the USA, because nobody is going to be able to compete with you. Because those goods that come in from other countries and companies, they're really in a bad position in so many different ways. They're uninspected. They may be very dirty and disgusting, and they come in and they pour in, and they hurt our American farmers. The tariffs will go on agricultural product coming into America, and our farmers, starting on April 2nd, it may be a little bit of an adjustment period. We had that before when I made the deal with China, $50 billion of purchases, and I said, just bear with me, and they did. They did. Probably have to bear with me again, and this will be even better. That was great. The problem with it was that Biden didn't enforce it. He didn't enforce it. $50 billion of purchases, and we were doing great, but Biden did not enforce it, and it hurt our farmers. But our farmers are going to have a field day right now. So to our farmers, have a lot of fun. I love you too. I love you too. It's all going to happen. And I have also imposed a 25% tariff on foreign aluminum, copper, lumber, and steel, because if we don't have, as an example, steel and lots of other things, we don't have a military, and frankly, we just won't have a country very long. Here today is a proud American steelworker, fantastic person from Decatur, Alabama, Jeff Denard. has been working at the same steel plant for 27 years in a job that has allowed him to serve as the captain of his local volunteer fire department, raise 7 children with his beautiful wife, Nicole, and over the years provide a loving home for more than 40 foster children. So great job. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff. Stories like Jeff's remind us that tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the soul of our country. Tariffs are about making America rich again and making America great again, and it's happening, and it will happen rather quickly. There'll be a little disturbance, but we're okay with that. It won't be much. No, you're not. Oh. And look where Biden took us, very low, the lowest we've ever been. Jeff, I want to thank you very much. And I also want to recognize another person who has devoted herself to foster care community. She works so hard on it. A very loving person, our magnificent First Lady of the United States. Melania's work has yielded incredible results, helping prepare our nation's future leaders as they enter the workforce. Our First Lady is joined by 2 impressive young women, very impressive. Haley Ferguson, who benefited from the First Lady's Fostering the Future initiative and is poised to complete her education and become a teacher. And Elliston Berry, who became a victim of an illicit deepfake image produced by a peer. With Elliston's help, the Senate just passed the Take It Down Act, and this is so important. Thank you very much, John. John Thune, thank you. Stand up, John. Thank you, John. Thank you all very much. Thank you. And thank you to John Thune and the Senate. Great job. To criminalize the publication of such images online is a terrible, terrible thing. And once it passes the House, I look forward to signing that bill into law. Thank you. And I'm going to use that bill for myself, too, if you don't mind. Because nobody gets treated worse than I do online. Nobody. That's great. Thank you very much to the Senate. Thank you. But if we truly care about protecting Americans' children, no step is more crucial than securing America's borders. Over the past 4 years, 21 million people poured into the United States. Many of them were murderers, human traffickers, gang members, and other criminals from the streets of dangerous cities all throughout the world. Because of Joe Biden's insane and very dangerous open border policies, they are now strongly embedded in our country, but we are getting them out and getting them out fast.
I think we have a Democrat standing up for that one.
And I want to thank Tom Homan.
She's been up and down.
And Christy, I want to thank you and Paul of Border Patrol. I want to thank you. What a job they've all done. Everybody, Border Patrol, ICE, law enforcement in general is incredible. We have to take care of our law enforcement. Have to. Last year, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Riley, the best in her class, admired by everybody, went out for a jog on the campus of the University of Georgia. That morning, Laken was viciously attacked, assaulted, beaten, brutalized, and horrifically murdered. Laken was stolen from us by a savage illegal alien gang member who was arrested while trespassing across Biden's open southern border and then set loose into the United States under the heartless policies of that failed administration. It was indeed a failed administration. He had then been arrested and released in a Democrat-run sanctuary city, a disaster, before ending the life of this beautiful young angel. With us this evening are Laken's beloved mother, Allison, and her sister, Lauren. Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act. It's called the Laken-Riley Act. So Allison and Lauren, America will never, ever forget our beautiful Laken Hope Riley. Thank you very much. Since taking office, my administration has launched the most sweeping border and immigration crackdown in American history, and we quickly achieved the lowest numbers of illegal border crossers ever recorded. Thank you. The media and our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation, we must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
Stares him down.
Thank you. Joe Biden didn't just open our borders, he flew illegal aliens over them to overwhelm our schools, hospitals, and communities throughout the country. Entire towns like Aurora, Colorado, and Springfield, Ohio, buckled under the weight of the migrant occupation and corruption like nobody's ever seen before. Beautiful towns destroyed. Now, just as I promised in my inaugural address, we are achieving the great liberation of America. But there still is much work to be done. Here tonight is a woman I have gotten to know, Alexis Nungari from Houston. Wonderful woman. Last June, Alexis's 12-year-old daughter, her precious Jocelyn, walked to a nearby convenience store. She was kidnapped, tied up, assaulted for 2 hours under a bridge, and horrifically murdered. Arrested and charged with this heinous crime are two illegal alien monsters from Venezuela, released into America by the last administration through their ridiculous open border. The death of this beautiful 12-year-old girl and the agony of her mother and family touched our entire nation greatly. Alexis, I promised that we would always remember your daughter, your magnificent daughter, and earlier tonight I signed an order keeping my word to you. One thing I have learned about Jocelyn is that she loved animals so much. She loved nature. Across Galveston Bay, from where Jocelyn lived in Houston, you will find a magnificent national wildlife refuge, a pristine, peaceful, 34,000-acre sanctuary for all of God's creatures on the edge of the Gulf of America. Alexis, moments ago, I formally renamed that refuge in loving memory of your beautiful daughter, Jocelyn. So, Mr. Vice President, if you would, may I have the order? Thank you very much. All three savages charged with Jocelyn and Lakin's murders were members of the Venezuelan prison gang, the toughest gang, they say, in the world, known as Tren de Aragua. 2 weeks ago, I officially designated this gang, along with MS-13 and the bloodthirsty Mexican drug cartels, as foreign terrorist organizations. They are now officially in the same category as ISIS, and that's not good for them. Countless thousands of these terrorists were welcomed into the U.S. by the Biden administration. But now every last one will be rounded up and forcibly removed from our country, or, if they're too dangerous, put in jails, standing trial in this country, because we don't want them to come back ever. With us this evening is a warrior on the front lines of that battle, Border Patrol Agent Roberto Ortiz. Great guy. In January, Roberto and another agent were patrolling by the Rio Grande near an area known as Cartel Island. Doesn't sound too nice to me. When heavily armed gunmen started shooting at them, Roberto saw that his partner was totally exposed, at great danger, and he leapt into action, returning fire and providing crucial seconds for his fellow agent to seek safety, just barely. I have some of the prints of that event, and it was not good. Agent Ortiz, we salute you for your great courage and for your line of fire that you took and for the bravery that you showed. We honor you, and we will always honor you. Thank you, Roberto, very much. Thank you, Roberto. And I actually got to know him on my many calls to the border. He's a great gentleman. The territory to the immediate south of our border is now dominated entirely by criminal cartels that murder, rape, torture, and exercise total control. They have total control over a whole nation, posing a grave threat to our national security. The cartels are waging war on America, and it's time for America to wage war on the cartels, which we are doing. Five nights ago, Mexican authorities, because of our tariff policies being imposed on them, think of this, handed over to us 29 of the biggest cartel leaders in their country. That has never happened before. They want to make us happy. First time ever. But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland and complete the largest deportation operation in American history, larger even than current record holder President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a moderate man, but someone who believed very strongly in borders. Americans expect Congress to send me this funding without delay so I can sign it into law. So, Mr. Speaker, John Thune, both of you, I hope you're going to be able to do that, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Mr. Leader, thank you. Thank you very much. And let's get it to me. I'll sign it so fast, you won't even believe it. And as we reclaim our sovereignty, we must also bring back law and order to our cities and towns. In recent years, our justice system has been turned upside down by radical left lunatics. Many jurisdictions virtually ceased enforcing the law against dangerous repeat offenders while weaponizing law enforcement against political opponents like me. My administration has acted swiftly and decisively to restore fair, equal, and impartial justice under the constitutional rule of law, starting at the FBI and the DOJ. Pam, good luck. Cash, wherever you may be, good luck. Good luck. Pam Bondi. Good luck. So important. Going to do a great job. Cash, thank you. Thank you, Cash. They've already started very strong. They're going to do a fantastic job. You're going to be very proud of them. We're also once again giving our police officers the support, protection, and respect they so dearly deserve. They have to get it. They have such a hard, dangerous job, but we're going to make it less dangerous. The problem is the bad guys don't respect the law, but they're starting to respect it, and they soon will respect it. This also includes our great fire departments throughout the country. Our firemen and women are unbelievable people, and we'll never forget them. And besides that, they voted for me in record numbers, so I have no choice. 1 year ago this month, 31-year-old New York police officer Jonathan Diller, unbelievably wonderful person and a great officer, was gunned down at a traffic stop on Long Island. I went to his funeral. The vicious criminal charged with his murder had 21 prior arrests, and they were rough arrests, too. He was a real bad one. The thug in the seat next to him had 14 prior arrests and went by the name of Killer. He was Killer. He killed other people, they say, a lot of them. I attended Officer Diller's service, and when I met his wife and one-year-old son, Ryan, it was very inspirational, actually. His widow's name is Stephanie, and she is here tonight. Stephanie, thank you very much, Stephanie. Thank you very much. Stephanie, we're going to make sure that Ryan knows his dad was a true hero, New York's finest. and we're going to get these cold-blooded killers and repeat offenders off our streets, and we're going to do it fast. Got to stop it. They get out with 28 arrests. They push people into subway trains. They hit people over the head, back of the head with baseball bats. We got to get them out of here. I've already signed an executive order requiring a mandatory death penalty for anyone who murders a police officer. And tonight I'm asking Congress to pass that policy into permanent law.
Damn.
That's what I said in that article. He's kicking ass and taking names. Forget that there's no spirit of bipartisanship. He's doing everything he possibly
I'm also
can as fast
asking
as he can.
for a new crime bill getting tough on repeat offenders while enhancing protections for America's police officers so they can do their jobs without fear of their lives being totally destroyed. They don't want to be killed. We're not going to let them be killed. Joining us in the gallery tonight is a young man who truly loves our police. His name is DJ Daniel. He is 13 years old, and he has always dreamed of becoming a police officer.
Got a mustache.
He does.
He's like, Dad, put me down.
I know. Dad.
I like the Texas shirt, though.
But in 2018, DJ was diagnosed with brain cancer. The doctors gave him 5 months at most to live. That was more than 6 years ago.
Nice.
Since that time, DJ and his dad have been on a quest to make his dream come true, and DJ has been sworn in as an honorary law enforcement officer actually a number of times. The police love him, the police departments love him. And tonight, DJ, we're going to do you the biggest honor of them all. I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Kid's so overwhelmed.
Yep.
Thank you, DJ. DJ's doctors believe his cancer likely came from a chemical he was exposed to when he was younger. Since 1975, rates of child cancer have increased by more than 40%. Reversing this trend is one of the top priorities for our new presidential commission to make America Healthy Again, chaired by our new Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy, Jr. With the name Kennedy, you would have thought everybody over here would have been cheering. How quickly they forget. Our goal is to get toxins out of our environment, poisons out of our food supply, and keep our children healthy and strong. As an example, not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong, 1 in 36, think of that. So we're going to find out what it is, and there's nobody better than Bobby and all of the people that are working with you. You have the best to figure out what is going on. Okay, Bobby, good luck. It's a very important job. Thank you. Go get him. Thank you. My administration is also working to protect our children from toxic ideologies in our schools. A few years ago, January Littlejohn and her husband discovered that their daughter's school had secretly socially transitioned their 13-year-old little girl. Teachers and administrators conspired to deceive January and her husband while encouraging her daughter to use a new name and pronouns. They, them pronoun, actually, all without telling January, who is here tonight and is now a courageous advocate against this form of child abuse. January, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Stories like this are why, shortly after taking office, I signed an executive order banning public schools from indoctrinating our children with transgender ideology. I also signed an order to cut off all taxpayer funding to any institution that engages in the sexual mutilation of our youth. And now I want Congress to pass a bill permanently banning and criminalizing sex changes on children and forever ending the lie that any child is trapped in the wrong body. This is a big lie. And our message to every child in America is that you are perfect exactly the way God made you. Because we're getting wokeness out of our schools and out of our military, and it's already out, and it's out of our society. We don't want it. Wokeness is trouble. Wokeness is bad. It's gone. It's gone. And we feel so much better for it, don't we? Don't we feel better? Our service members won't be activists and ideologues. They will be fighters and warriors. They will fight for our country. And Pete, congratulations. Secretary of Defense, congratulations. And he's not big into the woke movement, I can tell you. I know him well. I am pleased to report that in January, the U.S. Army had its single best recruiting month in 15 years, and that all armed services are having among the best recruiting results ever in the history of our services. What a difference. And you know, it was just a few months ago where the results were exactly the opposite. We couldn't recruit anywhere. We couldn't recruit. Now we're having the best results just about that we've ever had. What a tremendous turnaround. It's really a beautiful thing to see. People love our country again. It's very simple. They love our country, and they love being in our military again. So it's a great thing, and thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. We're joined tonight by a young man, Jason Hartley, who knows the weight of that call of duty. Jason's father, grandfather, and great-grandfather all wore the uniform. Jason tragically lost his dad, who was also a Los Angeles County Sheriff's deputy when he was just a boy, and now he wants to carry on the family legacy of service. Jason is a senior in high school, a six-letter varsity athlete, a really good athlete, they say, a brilliant student with a 4.46, that's good, GPA. And his greatest dream is to attend the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. And Jason, that's a very big deal getting in. That's a hard one to get into. But I'm pleased to inform you that your application has been accepted. You will soon be joining the Corps of Cadets.
Chuck's got to work tomorrow, so he bounced, but I'm going to take you home. Hang out with me if you'd like to, and it also means I can now smoke cigarettes.
Thank you. Jason, you're going to be on the long gray line, Jason. As Commander-in-Chief, my focus is on building the most powerful military of the future. As a first step, I'm asking Congress to fund a state-of-the-art Golden Dome missile defense shield to protect our homeland, all made in the USA. And Ronald Reagan wanted to do it long ago, but the technology just wasn't there, not even close. But now we have the technology. It's incredible, actually. And other places, they have it. Israel has it. Other places have it. And the United States should have it too, right, Tim, right? They should have it too. So I want to thank you. But it's a very, very important. This is a very dangerous world. We should have it. We want to be protected, and we're going to protect our citizens like never before. To boost our defense industrial base, we are also going to resurrect the American shipbuilding industry, including commercial shipbuilding and military shipbuilding. And for that purpose, I am announcing tonight that we will create a new Office of Shipbuilding in the White House and offer special tax incentives to bring this industry home to America where it belongs. We used to make so many ships. We don't make them anymore very much, but we're going to make them very fast, very soon. It will have a huge impact. To further enhance our national security, my administration will be reclaiming the Panama Canal, and we've already started doing it. Just today, a large American company announced they are buying both ports around the Panama Canal and lots of other things having to do with the Panama Canal and a couple of other canals. The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not for others, but others could use it. But it was built at tremendous cost of American blood and treasure. 38,000 workers died building the Panama Canal. They died of malaria. They died of snake bites and mosquitoes. Not a nice place to work. They paid them very highly to go there, knowing there was a 25% chance that they would die. The most expensive project also that was ever built in our country's history, if you bring it up to modern day costs. It was given away by the Carter administration for $1. But that agreement has been violated very severely. We didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back. And we have Marco Rubio in charge. Good luck, Marco. Now, we know who to blame if anything goes wrong. Marco's been amazing, and he's going to do a great job. Think of it. He got 100 votes. You know, he was approved with actually 99, but the 100th was this gentleman, and I feel very certain. So let's assume he got 100 votes. And I'm either very, very happy about that or I'm very concerned about it. But he's already proven. I mean, he's a great gentleman. He's respected by everybody, and we appreciate you voting for Marco. He's going to do a fantastic job. Thank you. Thank you. He's doing a great job. Great job. And I also have a message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America. We need Greenland for national security and even international security, and we're working with everybody involved to try and get it. But we need it really for international world security, and I think we're going to get it. One way or the other, we're going to get it. We will keep you safe. We will make you rich, and together we will take Greenland to heights like you have never thought possible before. It's a very small population, but very, very large piece of land and very, very important for military security. America is once again standing strong against the forces of radical Islamic terrorism. 3.5 years ago, ISIS terrorists killed 13 American service members and countless others in the Abbey Gate bombing during the disastrous and incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan. Not that they were withdrawing, it was the way they withdrew. Perhaps the most embarrassing moment in the history of our country. Tonight, I am pleased to announce that we have just apprehended the top terrorist responsible for that atrocity, and he is right now on his way here to face the swift sword of American justice. And I want to thank especially the government of Pakistan for helping arrest this monster. This was a very momentous day for those 13 families who I actually got to know very well, most of them, whose children were murdered, and the many people that were so badly, over 42 people, so badly injured on that fateful day in Afghanistan. What a horrible day. Such incompetence was shown that when Putin saw what happened, I guess he said, wow, maybe this is my chance. That's how bad it was. Should have never happened. Grossly incompetent people. I spoke to many of the parents and loved ones, and they're all in our hearts tonight. Just spoke to them on the phone. We had a big call. Every one of them called, and everybody was on the line, and they did nothing but cry with happiness. They were very happy, as happy as you can be under those circumstances. Their child, brother, sister, son, daughter was killed for no reason whatsoever. In the Middle East, we're bringing back our hostages from Gaza. In my first term, we achieved one of the most groundbreaking peace agreements in generations, the Abraham Accords. And now we're going to build on that foundation to create a more peaceful and prosperous future for the entire region. A lot of things are happening in the Middle East. People have been talking about that so much lately with everything going on with Ukraine and Russia. But a lot of things are happening in the Middle East. It's a rough neighborhood, actually. I'm also working tirelessly to end the savage conflict in Ukraine. Millions of Ukrainians and Russians have been needlessly killed or wounded in this horrific and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense.
Here we
with
go.
no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes. $2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that. They're Russian young people. They're Ukrainian young people. They're not Americans. But I want it to stop. Meanwhile, Europe has sadly spent more money buying Russian oil and gas than they have spent on defending Ukraine, by far. Think of that. They've spent more buying Russian oil and gas than they have defending. And we've spent perhaps $350 billion, like taking candy from a baby. That's what happened. And they've spent $100 billion. What a difference that is. And we have an ocean separating us, and they don't. But we're getting along very well with them, and lots of good things are happening. Biden has authorized more money in this fight than Europe has spent by
Thank you, Circle Jerk.
billions and billions of dollars. It's hard to believe that they wouldn't have stopped it and said, at some point, come on, let's equalize. You got to be equal to us. But that didn't happen. Earlier today, I received an important letter from President Zelensky of Ukraine. The letter reads, Ukraine is ready to come to the negotiating table as soon as possible to bring lasting peace closer. Nobody wants peace more than the Ukrainians, he said. My team and I stand ready to work under President Trump's strong leadership to get a peace that lasts. We do really value how much America has done to help Ukraine maintain its sovereignty and independence. Regarding the agreement on minerals and security, Ukraine is ready to sign it at any time that is convenient for you. I appreciate that he sent this letter, just got it a little while ago. Simultaneously, we've had serious discussions with Russia and have received strong signals that they are ready for peace. Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? Wouldn't that be beautiful? It's time to stop this madness. It's time to halt the killing. It's time to end the senseless war. If you want to end wars, you have to talk to both sides. Nearly 4 years ago, amid rising tensions, a history teacher named Mark Fogel was detained in Russia and sentenced to 14 years in a penal colony. Rough stuff. The previous administration barely lifted a finger to help him. They knew he was innocent, but they had no idea where to begin. But last summer, I promised his 95-year-old mother, Malphine, that we would bring her boy safely back home. After 22 days in office, I did just that, and they are here tonight. To Mark and his great mom, we are delighted to have you safe and sound and with us. As fate would have it, Mark Fogel was born in a small rural town in Butler, Pennsylvania. Have
No
you heard of
way.
it?
No
Where
way.
his mother has lived for the
No
past
way.
78 years. I just happened to go there last July 13th for a rally. That was not pleasant. And that is where I met his beautiful mom right before I walked onto that stage. And I told her I would not forget what she said about her son. And I never did I? Never forgot. Less than 10 minutes later, at that same rally, gunfire rang out, and a sick and deranged assassin unloaded 8 bullets from his sniper's perch into a crowd of many thousands of people. My life was saved by a fraction of an inch, but some were not so lucky. Corey Comparator was a firefighter, a veteran, a Christian, a husband, a devoted father, and above all, a protector. When the sound of gunshots pierced the air, it was a horrible sound. Corey knew instantly what it was and what to do. He threw himself on top of his wife and daughters and shielded them from the bullets with his own body. Corey was hit really hard. You know the story from there. He sacrificed his life to save theirs. 2 others, very fine people, were also seriously hit. But thankfully, with the help of 2 great country doctors, we thought they were gone and they were saved. So those doctors had great talent. We're joined by Corey's wife, Helen, who was his high school sweetheart, and their 2 beloved daughters, Allison and Kaylee. Thank you. To Helen, Allison, and Kaylee, Corey is looking down on his 3 beautiful ladies right now, and he is cheering you on. He loves you. He is cheering you on. Corey was taken from us much too soon, but his destiny was to leave us all with a shining example of the selfless devotion of a true American patriot. It was love like Corey's that built our country, and it's love like Corey's that is going to make our country more majestic than ever before. I believe that my life was saved that day in Butler for a very good reason.
Thank you,
I was
Henry.
saved by God to make America great again. I believe that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. From the patriots of Lexington and Concord to the heroes of Gettysburg and Normandy, from the warriors who crossed the Delaware to the trailblazers who climbed the Rockies, and from the legends who soared at Kitty Hawk to the astronauts who touched the moon, Americans have always been the people who defied all odds, transcended all dangers, made the most extraordinary sacrifices, and did whatever it took to defend our children, our country, and our freedom. And as we have seen in this chamber tonight, that same strength, faith, love, and spirit is still alive and thriving in the hearts of the American people. Despite the best efforts of those who would try to censor us, silence us, break us, destroy us, Americans are today a proud, free, sovereign, and independent nation that will always be free, and we will fight for it till death. We will never let anything happen to our beloved country, because we are a country of doers, dreamers, fighters, and survivors. Our ancestors crossed a vast ocean strode into the unknown wilderness and carved their fortunes from the rock and soil of a perilous and very dangerous frontier. They chased our destiny across a boundless continent. They built the railroads, laid the highways, and graced the world with American marvels like the Empire State Building, the mighty Hoover Dam, and the towering Golden Gate Bridge. They lit the world with electricity, broke free of the force of gravity, fired up the engines of American industry, vanquished the communists, fascists, and Marxists all over the world, and gave us countless modern wonders sculptured out of iron, glass, and steel. We stand on the shoulders of these pioneers who won and built the modern age, these workers who poured their sweat into the skylines of our cities, these warriors who shed their blood on fields of battle and gave everything they had for our rights and for our freedom. Now it is our time to take up the righteous cause of American liberty. And it is our turn to take America's destiny into our own hands and begin the most thrilling days in the history of our country. This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond. And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
All right, so we'll let it wind down here for a little bit. And then we'll hang out for a minute, and then we'll probably call it a night.
Thank you.
Fantastic speech.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And there it is, the end of the White House stream. Oh, getting some texts. So, let me pull up your chat here real quick. Final thoughts, get them in. I thought it was quite good. I'm sure we'll do a breakdown of it here at some point. But, wow, 11 o'clock, so we almost went for 2 hours. Can't take it anymore. It's too much winning. It was awesome to have you all here for the watch party. Oh, a little bit premature. So by all means, I think we're fairly accurate with what would be talked about. Of course, there wasn't any great revelations in terms of like Epstein or anything like that. There's my boy Trideca. Welcome. Democrats had a mad Wile E. Coyote placard energy tonight as they paused before falling off a cliff. It's actually shockingly accurate. And thank you to everybody else who super chatted, especially.
Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have Prime Minister Modi of India.
Went on to the next video. Thank you very much to everybody who super chatted during the speech. We sort of adopted an MO where we try not to interrupt Trump while he's talking. I think it's been working out well. Chuck had to head out a little bit early because he is heading to work in the morning, as all of us are. And so I just want to quickly, strongly encourage everybody to, there we are, head over to YouTube, search for Chuck Mason. I have that in the wrong window, I believe. Chuck Mason, he's a couple down right here with his patented leather jacket. And then he has only been making YouTube videos for about a month, but his most recent one, I'm Tired of Conservative NPCs, had him convinced to just sit down and let it rip from the heart. He makes fantastic content. Look at that. He's already gained a couple of subscribers here. That's fantastic to see. So Chuck is going to be a great ally in the wars to come, if you will. He is a fighter, as Lincoln once said of Grant. I can't spare this man. He fights. And he's already talking about NPCs on his 5th video. So Chuck is a great dude, especially if you're into religion and things like that. Sorry to Zeb Boykin, who got ill and didn't make it today, but those guys are going to make some absolutely incredible content and make some kind of written form as well for all of us, which will be awesome to see. Okay, there we are. I'm back to not being flipped. So by all means, please, if you're so inclined and like that sort of cerebral content, head over to YouTube, check out Chuck Mason. We will be back on Thursday with a Cider House. We are remaining incredibly busy here in Studio Center. I don't have the PTZ cam set up in this scene collection, but you've likely seen the studio before behind me. Please enjoy this Confederate dollar bill with Judah Benjamin on it. But it was great to have all of you in here tonight. Please, if you're driving, drive home safe. Hopefully you were doing what I was doing from the safety of your own home. Final questions, thoughts, anything like that. It is all about you guys, the chat. Green names or channel members, please consider doing that. You get the yellow badge when you start at 6 months. You get the white badge there, like Circle Jerk. Thank you very much, Circle Jerk, by the way. And then at 1 year, the blue badge. And we're just heading into this summer probably is we're going to have some stuff coming out like the new music. Been working on several different films and television shows. That's the very interesting thing to me. That's partially why I haven't been putting out a lot of regular videos. But I think it's time that we were able to turn on a television and watch some sort of show or movie that is genuinely good. So I look forward to hopefully providing that for you. Big PP Energy. Let me read them off, starting at the top. David Smith, always good to see you. Solitude 731, you had incredible comments today. Thank you for joining us. Brett Farrar, always good to see you. Modema Rose, good to see you as well. Sorry I briefly missed that super chat during the thing, but I think I did call you out there. Circle Jerk, you're a great dude. Stacking Coins had some incredible comments tonight. Enjoyed the membership. Angry Ginger, we're going to have to hop on a live stream together, a 3cc one. Plick and OG, correcting the grammar. I respect it. Ryan Mobley, see you Thursday. Carlos Cristiano, don't let your memes be dreams. Amen. Monster Hunters, I don't know. I'm not going to say too much. Cerberus is hard-emming as fuck. Year membership, awesome. Also with the year membership, Mantara. And then Mantara backwards. Big PP Energy. Dude, check it out. Merch link. It should be on the channel. We have incredible merch handmade by Dodger, who is coming up in person in the next month or two, which will be awesome. Alfalfa March, good to see you. How can I get involved? I have much to say. There's a very basic setup you can do. I might release some kind of little free tutorial, but basically a microphone and a webcam. You can get ones that are more than adequate very inexpensively on Amazon these days. Patrick Ancona, it was good to see you again, by the way. Good to have you back. Keno Flex, a.k.a. our boy Jack Kentner. Awesome to see you. Good night. Take it easy. Luke B. hates Destiny. We all do. Good to see you again. Lord of the Ree, America is back. You're a great dude, Lord of the Ree. Been listening to your music. Speaking of those movies and television shows, you might hear some of the Lord of the Ree once those come out. David Smith thanking Trideca. Trideca, great guy. Glad to have you around, Trideca and David. Clyde, do something. Loved watching it with you, world champions. We enjoyed you as well. Benny Danger, how is John holding up? He's coming back. He's coming back. And there's Trideca, there's Patrick, there's William Maines, who's absolutely incredible and does some fantastic artwork. As soon as I get around to having a minute to update the website, we're going to start trying to sell some of that stuff, some prints, things like that. So, please, all you world champions, get home safely. Check out Chuck Mason if you get a moment. He's busting through 50 subscribers. He really does make some quite good stuff. And as he gets used to the way the internet works and talking on camera and things like that, he's just going to get better and better. But there he was, President Donald Trump. Easy-E, real quick, amazing speech. Great to share it with you guys, USA. Thank you, Easy-E. Sorry that happened to you back in the days on the West Coast. And Mike and all Charlie Kelly and everybody else whose name I didn't mention. Hopefully I caught you earlier. I am hoping to send you out, if I did this properly, on an old and classic song that I think very well captures what went down tonight in the speech. Total win! So enjoy this song. I'll let it play out, and then I will see you again live Thursday. May get a video out tomorrow. But until next time, remember, you are a world champion. Don't let your memes be dreams.
President Trump making history, becoming the first American president to ever step foot onto North Korean soil.
조국과 인민을 위하여 용감히 싸워 나갑시다.
What the hell you think? This got so much yang. This why so much wang. This why no more yin. So much wang. Total win. Total win. Total win. Total win. Total win. I'm gonna ask what the hell you think? This got so much about. This why so much wow. This why no more shit. So much wow. Total win. Total win. Total win. Total win. I'm gonna rise as hello America. I think you know me. My name is Kim Jong-un, homie. But I'm the dude with my thumb on the button of a mutual nuclear destruction. But I just wanna be friends, okay? Shotgun, a shot pop with my hot monkeys. Morris, Mora, garnish, orange, Hollis, Menon, Morris, chorus. This got so much yang. This why so much wang. This why no more yin. So much wang. Total win. This got so much sack. He protect, he attack. This why no more homoerotic rocket ranches. Got it? I got it. Oh, Jesus. Monkey. I'm gonna ask what the hell you think? Hello, America. You thought you knew me. You thought that you were screwing Barack Obama blew me. I'm the guy with my finger on the trigger of the biggest bang since Arnold Schwarzenegger fucked his babysitter. But I just wanna be friends, okay? Shotgun, a shot top with my hot monkeys. Morris, Mora, garnish, orange, harvest, minnow. harass ass.